But I'd just like to welcome everybody to this very special event. This morning, you'll see I'm joined by three incredible speakers, and I'm going to share a little bit of information about each of them as we go along. My name is Gillian Joyce. I have been partnered with this beautiful company for just over 6.5 years, massive wellness advocate. My background is actually as a school principal, so this is quite the difference, but it's certainly an area that I felt drawn to be a part of, and it has become a huge part of my life. Now, as you all know, throughout the week, we have been sharing information, a few little tidbits about our event today, Brains, Beauty, and the Bedroom. So a little bit of fun. I've got some fun speakers here too. We've just been having a really good chuckle, so you're in for an absolute treat today. But we have also been doing some lucky door prizes in the lead up. We've already had a couple of winners. You can go back and check the comments and see who those winners are. But before we begin, I'm going to do one more lucky draw just from those who are sharing the love on the post to begin with. And we will do some more draws for those who are on live today as well. So let's bring up our wheel and just find one more winner before we begin our event. So thank you again to everybody who let us know they'd seen the event, that let us know that they were going to be jumping on. And our winner today is, oh, it's right on the borderline. Beck Aylick, congratulations. You are our winner for today for the lucky draw. But stay tuned because we will be doing some more draws at the end for those who are jumping on live. So if you are joining us live today, give us a virtual high five, pop a 5 in the comments. Let us know that you're watching live. And also tell us where you're joining us from. And I'm going to start popping some names in the draw to be drawn at the end. But to begin with, I'm going to be introducing to you our very first speaker. Now, this lady is an absolute wealth of knowledge. She is a well sought after speaker. She is a registered dietitian and a trendsetter dietitian at that, and a founding member of the Dietitians Integrative and Functional Medicine of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. Now, Joanne has helped professionals across the world and learning their trade and presenting and sharing incredible information. She's created several programs as well. She partnered with our company knowing full well that this company had a breakthrough technology helping everybody in so many areas. So for her to be a part of this, we are grateful, but I know that this has been an incredible tool for her in her toolbox as well. And Joanne today is going to be sharing with all of us on the Tri Synergizer and how that helps us with the brain, the beauty, and maybe touch on a little bit on the bedroom, but we're going to save the real good stuff till the end as well.
Oh yeah, I think Jess is going to cover a lot of that, and I don't know if I'm the brains or the beauty, but you know, I'll take both.
All of them. You take all of them.
But anyway, I am kind of a science geek. I do have to say that. So thank you, Gillian, for inviting me to be on here. I'm so excited, and you kind of did a great job introducing me. But you know, I started with this company in 2011 when a cardiologist invited me to take a look at this information, and I was head dietitian at a cardiovascular hospital in South Dakota. And like I said, I'm kind of a science geek. So when he showed me that this flagship product, Protandim Nerve 2, would lower oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days and upregulate our antioxidant enzymes, so cellular enzymes, I already knew about that. I was already well versed in that biology. So when he told me about Protandim Nerve 2, I knew that I needed to be, you know, a part of this company and get the word out. Because I knew that oxidative stress was the leading theory and leading cause of why we age and why we get all these health problems that come with aging, right? And so I was 61 at the time, and I'm 73 now. And I wanted to age, you know, well and healthy. And so I really jumped on board, and I've learned over the years about more about the science about Protandim Nerve 2. I knew it lowered that oxidative stress, but as the more I read, realized that what this does is that it activates an anti-aging pathway called NRF2. And what that does is that really flips the switch on our cells and tells our cells make more antioxidants rather than taking antioxidants. So our cellular antioxidants, a million times more potent than what you get from like a vitamin C tablet. So I have to say, I've been taking this little yellow pill for almost 12 years now. So loving it. I have had great benefits from that. And so our company hasn't really slowed down in the anti-aging category. I think it's just phenomenal that they didn't stop with just flipping switches and activating Nerve2. We are now, our company about 5 years ago, brought to market another product that flips another switch on our cells. It's called the NRF1 switch. And what this does is it activates our cells and turns on the survival genes that help to restore our mitochondria. So why is that important? Because our mitochondria are it's our cellular health. It's our energy factories within our cells. So how is that anti-aging? Well, as you age, you start losing your mitochondria. They get destroyed by these toxic molecules called free radicals. Well, the free radicals, of course, are at the root cause of the oxidative stress. We already have that really addresses the oxidative stress. But we've got to get our mitochondria back, right? That's our energy factory. So how many times have you met people that say, oh, I just don't have the energy like I did when I was, 30 or 40. And I have to say, I think it's working for me. The Nerf1, helping with my energy, as I'm an avid pickleball player. If anybody knows about pickleball, it's a great sport. I absolutely love it. I can tell you that the players that I play with on the court keep getting younger, but I'm amazingly able to keep up my energy with them. And they tell me I'm fast and quick. So that brings us to the NAD, okay? So we're gonna flip another switch, okay? It's called the NAD synergizer, the NAD switch. So what is NAD? Again, what we're doing through something we called Nutrigenomics, we're activating genes with nutrition. What we're able to do with this is that we're able to increase a molecule in our cells called NAD. Now, why is that important? You need NAD to make another set of anti-aging genes called sirtuins. Now, in the past, the only way you could get sirtuins was through severe caloric restriction, right? The problem with that is people don't like going hungry. So what we have instead is we have Protandim NAD. You can get and activate those sirtuins without being hungry. And I was telling you about, being on the pickleball court, and my husband plays with me as well. And he's 83. And I remember when we both started on this about 3-4 years ago, his players, the guys that we were playing with, were like, wow, Jim, you're really quick. You never used to be quite that fast and quick on the court. So what's new with you? And he said, well, it's this, it's NAD. It really is great for your brain. And it really is kind of like good for cognitive function. It's good for your cardiovascular disease. It cleans up your cells with all the gunk in there. So I have to say that my secret to healthy aging is right here. My Protandim Tri-Synergizers, and I don't go a day without them. Okay, so Jillian, with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Joanne. I loved hearing all those little key bits about those three incredible products. And who doesn't want to reverse that aging or slow down that aging at a cellular level? Like, we're talking about not just the inside, but the outside as well. And I loved hearing that your husband's also benefiting from all those products, and that you still go out and play on the court together. Couple that plays together stays together, right?
Yep, that's right. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, on many levels. Awesome, Joanne. Thank you so much for all of that. And next, I'm going to be introducing our second speaker. And we actually decided to change our order around a little bit just at the last minute, because we really want to save the good stuff till the end. You're in for an absolute treat. And Don't flush, Jess. But we thought, we'll go to the brain side of things, really focus on the brain and how we can help that and support that. And we certainly have some amazing products that do that in our product line. And I'm so thrilled that we have Dr. Brett Broomhall with us, because he is the absolute go-to person when it comes to one of our key products, Axio. So Brett, just to introduce Brett has been married to Holly for 26 years. He has 4 children. He has been in chiropractics for over 22 years and has been training healthcare providers all over the world since 1995. Along with his father, he's pioneered multiple programs that support chiropractors around the world and other health experts and professionals. But his journey with LifeVantage began with one of his patients when he saw an incredible transformation after working with him for just 12 months. And there was an introduction of a new product, and in quizzing the parents about this, and I'll allow him to share his story more, he was just blown away with what he found out about Nutrigenomics and what we have here at LifeVantage. So Brett, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to hand over to you to share one of my favorite products. And I must also mention that this has just been launched into Australia and New Zealand. We have been waiting for this, and we're so excited, particularly coming into our summer months now. This is my favorite go-to drink, particularly when I've been out in the garden whippersniffering, but even just that daily go-to little energy kick. So Brett, I'll let you tell us all about it. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much for letting us be a part of this. And I'm actually just excited to be here with both Joanne and Dr. Jessica, both just brilliant people. And I think all of us are here because of something that caught our attention, specifically with somebody we were working with, or the science of a potential of helping somebody. And so that was my journey. Like, I've taught and trained physicians for a long time. My dad was a nutritional formulator, formulated over 200 different natural products that was marketed through healthcare channels to help patients. And when I was working with this little boy, like literally I did everything I could to help him. And his life was literally full of therapists. He saw therapists every day of the week, almost 35 hours a week, to try to learn how to talk, to learn how to study, to learn how to behave in school, to socialize. And that was his life. And literally after me working with him every week for a whole year, his mom started giving him Axio. And at that point in time, I first looked at it, I said, well, that's perfect. Let's give a hyper 4-year-old an energy drink. That makes sense. And I mean, I'm a little sarcastic by nature, but when I first looked at it, that was my initial reaction. But 11 days after he started it, he came into my office and he sat still for the first time the whole time I worked with him. He then went back into my back room and he was able to do all the things that he was being asked to do on point. And he had more of a conversation with me, like literally his verbal skills improved over 50%. And it was so much of a shock to me. I remember calling his mom and said, I don't know what's going on, but like, I need to understand what this is. And at that time, when I first looked at the product ingredients, like I always, both with the Protatom Nerve 2, people had brought that to me before, as well as the Axio. I'm like, well, it's just not that special. Well, I'm here to tell you what we have is extremely special and extremely unique. And I'm just excited that you're here to learn about it now, because there are people in your life that need this yesterday. So I'm just going to show a couple of slides with you. And I want you to really just understand the concept. Like, you don't have to guess what you're going to get at LifeVantage. You don't have to guess what this is going to do. Like, this has been studied and proven and shown to create a synergistic effect to get the results you want. Right. So when I went back to South Dakota on a week's notice and canceling patients to meet the scientist said something to me. He said, look, people are tired, not because they're physically tired, but because they're mentally tired. And that rings so true in my mind. And so I want you to remember the last time you said, oh, I have way too much energy. I am way too focused. Like, I'm not overwhelmed at all. Right. I don't hear that. Like, I never hear that in my practice or in my life. Right. So if you're one of those people that you'd like to be more focused and more in the zone and like firing all the cylinders, like, this is what you need to understand. Like, your brain has a potential to be more focused and more in the zone, because when the brain can learn and it can retain and it can continue to learn, it's not like Groundhog Day where it was like to this little boy. It's like we were repeating the same cycle, like telling the same thing, doing the same therapy, and it wasn't sticking. So if you feel like things aren't sticking or holding, it doesn't feel like you're progressing mentally and or emotionally, it can tie back to a tired brain. So I want to show you a couple quick pictures, because I think that it's helpful to kind of have a visual. There's a scientist by Dr. Daniel Amen, and he does what's called SPECT imaging. So it allows you to visually see what's going on in the brain. So when you look at somebody that had a stroke and you look from the outside, they don't look any different than any of us. But if you looked at the functionality of their brain, this is what you'd see. You'd literally see cold spots or spots that weren't working. Well, for each of us, a healthy brain, it would look like this, like the blood's going everywhere. Well, I heard a couple other ones. When you look at what people are doing to try to have a more focused brain or to not feel stressed, they're turning to whatever they have, right? And so we know in the extreme cases, like they might go towards like medications, like, over the counter or recreational. So here's a couple images of brains of what happened when people actually utilize those things and what happens to their brain. And one of the biggest fear people have is not cancer. Cancer is a big one, but the biggest fear is that one of the biggest fear people have is losing somebody before they lose them mentally, right? Because they still look the same, but they're not the same. You lose them mentally. So we need to do things today to make sure our brain has what it needs so it can function optimally today, but also we help protect it for tomorrow, right? That is super critical. So here's just a couple pictures where you can see, because whether it's, an alcohol or cocaine or whatever it might be, like literally this is what the brain will look like. So if it stays like that long term, like we're going to have damage. And when the brain is not damaged, it's hard to focus. It's hard to concentrate. It's hard to stay on task, right? It's hard to communicate. It's hard to socialize, right? So to have a healthy brain is so critical to the function that day. And for people, I said, well, ask this for like someone's got a problem or somebody, what's it for? Well, guys, there are so many people on the planet that are struggling, and a fatigued brain for some people is going to look like they can't learn, or I can't focus, or I'm overwhelmed, or it might look they want to withdraw, or it might just be like, us, like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to make for lunch or dinner, right? You just come home from work or and you're just like, okay, trying to make this, what I call decision fatigue. That's all the result of a tired brain. It just looks different to different people. So what are people doing right now? Like literally they have different options. This is axial, and I wanted to give you a visual of what it looks like. This was my nephew's handwriting. All right. So just keep perspective. He was 9 at the time, and his handwriting on the left-hand side, this is pre-activation, pre-nerve 2, pre-axial. And his life looked like this. He's the oldest of six boys, struggled in school, had to stay in at recess a lot of times because he just couldn't stay on task, right? Just did socialize well with others, right? Well, in 2 weeks of doing the protective nerve 2 and the axial, that's what his handwriting looked like. So what's fascinating to me this time is you don't have time to train your hand to write better in 2 weeks, right? But the perception of what his brain was able to put as an output changed drastically. So the information was always there. It just couldn't go from brain to body, right? So think of that in the term of communication and relationship. Like if you can't process information, then the end result is not going to be good. So what do people do right now? Well, literally people are right now doing whatever they can to have more energy. Like the energy drink market, guys, is just blown up. Like every year it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And coffee sales, it's still bigger, but it's a much smaller growth curve in comparison to energy drinks. Now, this is not a US problem only, right? This is a global thing. Like globally, and you can see the one on the right, where you can see the amount of energy drinks being sold and consumed across the world is drastically better. And I've never had somebody tell me, hey, I drink this energy drink because it's good for me. Like I've never had anybody do that. I've had a lot of people feel bad for drinking it, but people are turning even from coffee to this. They're turning away from soda to this, because literally soda sales are dropping, whereas energy drink sales is skyrocketing. So what I love about LifeVantage is because we are a global company with a global vision of being the activation company to help people function ideally and optimally and taking that message to the world. Because there are so many people that I will never meet of where I live that need this information. I'm hoping that you'll share it with them. So when you're in different markets, there might be a slightly different formula. Don't get hung up on the formula. When LifeVantage is testing products, they're looking into what countries and what ingredients are allowed, and then combining it in specific ratios to get a synergistic effect, right? That is absolutely critical. So when you look at these individual ingredients, like they're all important to themselves. But when I first saw this, I'm like, well, I don't understand why that worked in this little boy, to where all of a sudden now his brain was able to express what was in there. It's not about the ingredients. It's about the synergistic effect that the ingredients have upon each other and how that activates brain. So when your brain can learn and retain, it can recall, it can continue to learn no matter how old you are. whether you're trying to do something so you can focus today or whether you're trying to protect your brain for tomorrow. All right. Now, this goes back to the philosophy for me, which is what Hippocrates said years ago. The natural healing force within each of us is the greatest force of getting well. Our food should be our medicine should be our food. LifeVantage is an activation company focused on, no matter where you live in the world, is bringing products to market that will allow you to address the brain fatigue you have with Axial. Each of the products we have are designed around that way. Because I don't care if you're a little boy that's struggling with his handwriting, or you have a little boy that's, this other one's a young man, he had a concussion. His parents were therapists, and they literally did specialized brain training with him. And that's what they did. Well, literally after doing Axial, he went from the bottom of this class to the top of this class, and where he's now in college studying engineering. So what I want you to know is that Axial is designed to address brain fatigue. If you feel like you struggle in any way, shape, or form to feel like your brain can focus the way you'd like it to, Axial can be a part of the solution for that. And it's not designed for young or old. It's anybody that has their brain and wants their brain to function optimally. So appreciate you letting me be a part of this. And please, guys, share this with your friends and family because they need it.
Thank you so much, Brett. Oh my goodness. I was just blown away when I saw the graphics of the different brains and seeing that some of those brains that had that damage were 17-year-old brains. We really need to be taking good care of ourselves. And then again, seeing that climb in energy drinks. And as a school teacher and principal, one of my things that made me cringe the most was when I'd be going to school in the morning and I would see kids walking along the side footpaths to school carrying energy drinks, our children. And these energy drinks are causing so many health concerns. And, and like you said, I've never heard somebody say this is a healthy option. I'm drinking this because it's good for me. But we can say with Axio, we are drinking it because it is good for us. It is incredible for us. And I give it to my children, my little boys. They love the red raspberry. We make icy poles out of it. But we've also seen a lot of people use the Axio in the winter months as a warm beverage as well. So it can be used both, all times a year. It's a delicious drink and it's good for us. And look at the results. Oh my goodness. It certainly helps me get focused at those times when I really need it as well. So thank you so much for sharing all of that, Brett. I'm sure that a lot of people now knowing it's available in Australia and New Zealand, but also globally in other parts of the world. Make sure you get out there. There's other varieties coming, and I'll let you all in on a little secret. We have a new flavour coming to Australia and New Zealand at the beginning of November. So keep your eyes open. There's another one coming and we're excited for it. So that brings us to our third and final speaker. But before I introduce Dr. Jess, I'd love for you to let us know where you are joining us from if you haven't done so already. I'm adding names onto our wheel. We will be doing some extra draws, some prize draws. So please pop your names in the comments. Let us know that you're watching live and we will add your name to that. We'll do a prize draw at the end. So let's get along with our presentation. I am so excited for this next talk because I actually listened to Dr. Jess over in Croatia just a few weeks ago. She was talking about a few fun facts by the pool. When it comes to our newest product, collagen. And I can tell you right now, it is super interesting. And this is an important part of our lives. Like, we want to be involved, in a loving way, enjoying life. Okay. So I'm trying to think of some good words to use here, Jess. I'm going to leave it to you. So Jess is that was a big slam on the front door. So Jess is married to Matt. She has 5 children. And she owns her own chiropractic business in Central South Dakota. She has her doctorate in chiropractic with additional certifications in acupuncture and NAET. She is intentionally curious and always looking for ways to improve health naturally. And she is passionate about this new technology and empowering others to take control of their health and their life with our LifeVantage opportunity. Now, Jess, I'm going to hand straight over to you because you've got some really great stuff to share with us on our collagen. Thanks so much.
All right. So thanks, Jill, for the introduction. And I am super excited to talk to you about collagen, but I have to be completely honest with you. Collagen has been the buzz for years and a product that I had researched many years ago and tried implementing with patients with very little changes, if I'm 100% honest. Based on the science, the concept of giving someone the building blocks for proteins, which are essential in the body, seems like a phenomenal idea. But it wasn't really giving me results. I'm just going to be completely honest. So when this came out, I originally thought, another Me Too product. And then I remembered, wait. This company is a company built on activation. And so we are very specific as far as finding things that will actually do that in our body. And so when you think about supplementation, you want to think about bringing something to a cell that it doesn't have enough of. And when you think about activating, you want to think about turning on something in the body that should have been on to begin with, or off to begin with, whichever way it should be, right? If it needs to be on, we turn it on. If it needs to be off, we turn it off. And that is really what this company did, is they blew it out of the park again. And I couldn't be happier to represent not only this company, but this product. And the phenomenal changes that I saw in less than a month of patients and customers, happy customers being on this, led to even more research for me too. Some of the funny conversations at the pool started by the text messaging that I would receive from people. And I'm pretty open with people, and people are open right back. So when somebody gets a really impressive change, they message me like, hey, can your collagen do XYZ? And that's what started my research again back into collagen years after learning about it originally. So I'm going to share some of the stories at the end, but I'm going to briefly just kind of go through some of this a little bit. But collagen is a structural protein that makes up all of the linings in your body. So from your brain, your lungs, your gut, your hair, skin, nails, tendons, ligaments, fascia. All of your body has a collagen component in the linings. The body will produce collagen proteins by the food that you take, having the right amino acids in the right combinations. But quite honestly, our production declines around the age of 30. And that leads to a reduction in our collagen density, and also leads to saggy, dull, and wrinkled looking linings, including your skin. Also hair loss. And many other outward signs that we're aware of. So why did LifeVantage pick liquid? So the first reason they picked liquid is because the proteins are hydrolyzed, meaning that they're chopped up into tiny pieces, so it's easier for us to break them down. And then having it be highly water soluble makes it so it's extremely bioavailable, meaning when we put it into the body, our body can quickly absorb and utilize it. Those are two really, really key components. And this not only supplements as far as replenishing, but it also activates and maintains. We have a component called ruby red quinoa extract that turns on the genes that increase our collagen synthesis, meaning we start producing more of our own collagen. And we also replenish or supplement with fish collagen peptides. These are hydrolyzed from responsibly and sustainably caught fish with 10 types of collagen. There are 28 types in the body. There are 10 in ours. 90% of those are type 1. That are in the body. So this is getting us a broad spectrum collagen where we can really influence different areas of the body with one shot. And then we're also able to maintain with a few different exotic fruits to provide antioxidant stability, and also to turn on a gene that slows down the breakdown of collagen. So with that being said, look at some of these before and afters. We've got a thigh. We see changes in cellulite. We see changes in skin color and tone and texture and wrinkle and elasticity. In men and women, we've seen changes in mood. The woman on the left here told her story of having lost her mother almost a year before this came out, and she really just did not have her groove back. And if you've ever lost someone, you know that grieving process takes a long time. And you can call it what you will, but I'm not going to call it a condition, because we are not here to treat or mitigate any symptom, condition, or disease. But let's just say she lost her zest her life, right? She was not like herself and not doing her normally things, not finding the joy in living. And in less than a few weeks on this product, she got herself back. So, and I want to tell you that there were text messages like that I received from many people that had lost someone, people that were struggling with the impact of 2020 and the changes that people endured with their emotional and mood status were devastating, to be quite honest. But also changes in weight loss, dramatic weight loss in a short period of time without doing anything different. Gut lining healing provides so many benefits, not only for your gut, but also for your brain. So we see changes in the cognition. And imagine also if you had that Axio on board and then you were slowing the aging process with the Tri-Synergizer that Joanne talked about as well. So some of these people were. Some of the testimonies I've been getting were people that were taking Tri-Synergizer and Axio and our collagen, or that were taking NRF2 and Axio and collagen, or, you know, whatever the combo is. I did have a few that only took collagen, you guys, but I would never recommend that in a billion years. Why? Because NRF2 is what attracted me to this company in the first place. And this is what we're doing, is slowing the aging process by really impacting the genes. Look at these thighs. Can you even believe this, right? Like I said, I've recommended collagen for years. I've never seen changes like these. So you can get minimal changes with other products, but not like what this company is getting. So varicose veins, I've seen changes in varicose veins in my own legs, in my mom's legs. In many people, changes in vascular health. And you think about it, the lining of your blood vessels, the tunica media is composed largely of collagen. And then of course, we have to talk about not getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. How many of you do that, by the way? Because I don't have that problem. So I did not realize how many, especially women, do that. But I had women going from getting up 2 or 3 times a night to not getting up at all, or only getting up once. And it was game changing for them, because imagine how much restful sleep you miss out on when you're getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, right? So there's just, there's a lot of things that are not just about the external. So I want you to really think about this. If people are seeing these incredible changes on the outside, what is going on the inside, right? So definitely, huge changes exterior. And I'm not gonna poo-poo that, because I know, you know what? I know people care about what they look like on the outside. They do, whether they want to admit that or not, right? When people are losing their hair, it's devastating. When your skin is wrinkling and you don't have anything you can do about it, it's devastating. There is definitely some of that. But having quality sleep, that's a big deal too. Having regular bowel movements, also a big deal. There's a couple of things that people don't like talking about, right? Nobody wants to talk about pooping, and nobody wants to talk about having sex, but we all need to do it. So there's definitely some things we want to think about when we talk about collagen with that too. I've had people that have been constipated for years that adding collagen was that last thing that they needed to have that consistency without having any struggles. And healing that gut lining allows for healing of autoimmune style things as well, because those particles are not getting through that gut wall and into your bloodstream so quickly. So very huge. But as far as the bedroom goes, because everyone would like to have help in the bedroom, definitely what Joanne already mentioned, those are a big deal. NRF2 and NRF1, I've seen phenomenal changes with libido, and also just the ability to even to have that desire is such a big deal, right? But with collagen, the corpus cavernosum of the penis and the clitoris are largely consisting of collagen. So what we see is that in your 30s, your collagen is going down, right? And then we know that there's nothing else that will substantially turn on our collagen production until now. So the only option people had was to hope that what they were supplementing with was the right type of collagen, the right amino acids to maybe fulfill that deficiency a little bit. But with this, we have the perfect trio. We can activate, we can replenish, and we can maintain. And I've had many text messages from men and women, the ones that are about men typically coming from women for their man, but just, having the ability to perform like they hadn't in 15 years of marriage. So there's definitely some things there that we're seeing. The lining of the vagina, largely collagen. So you guys, I know it sounds a little cheeky, and it's not always comfortable to talk about, but there are areas of health. These are fundamental, and these are higher level abilities. Like our ability to reproduce, our ability to have high cognitive function are not survival things, right? To survive, we need heart, we need lungs, but to really thrive, we need the ability to do the higher level things. So when you're not able to do those things regularly, you know that's where we need to work, right? So we kind of have to just see what's going on in your life, where you need to have improvements, and just know that there are answers with activation that there aren't with any other company. This is really unique, and we are so glad you're here to ask questions and help even just one more person. Right? If you can help one more person to not go through what, your friend did, or your neighbor did, or your mom did, if you can help just one more person, you guys, it's worth it. And it's worth it to be on here, because I know that someone out there is looking for what we have. And it's shame on you if you have not the courage to think of someone else over yourself. So share this with other people, invite them to listen. And if you are struggling, please reach out to whoever invited you for some help.
Jess, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing all of that information. And, I've just been reading the comments that are going on the side there, and I know that since collagen has been around, there's certainly a few happy homes at the moment based on the comments that are going on. But I want to reiterate what you said there as well about, just health that we don't always talk about, whether it's, bedroom health or the beauty health or your brain health, all of those different areas that we've covered today. If you're lacking in any of those areas, it can have that knock-on effect to impact other aspects of your life. So making yourself a priority, taking care of your health, is not only doing yourself a favor, but it's also helping those around you, your family as well. And, it just opens up so much more opportunity for a happier, healthier life. So I encourage you, take control of your health, look after yourself. You are important, you are a priority, so do it. I just want to thank all of our speakers again, Jess, Brett, and Joanne, who had to duck off for a dinner party. So again, thank you to you all for being on here. I am going to do a couple of prize draws before we finish up, but there are a few comments in the chat, and please keep the comments and the questions in the chat going. And what we might do is go back to the comments and answer them there. Is that okay? Jess and Brett, you might be able to help out with a few of those questions in the chat. All right, so let's quickly do a couple of prize draws. I hope I've got everybody. I have been madly typing names since the beginning. So we're going to spin this wheel, and we'll get 2 winners, and we'll send out some prizes to these lucky people. So who have we got first? We've got Ashley Braden. Let's put some love in the comments for Ashley. She is our first winner. And we'll do one more. Let's see who our next winner will be. Can I ask Ashley? And our next winner looks to be Janine. Just crossed the line. Janine, if you can send me a private message with your address, and I will get the prizes sent out to you straight away. So just a private message would be great. A big congratulations to both of those winners. And again, thank you to our incredible speakers. I've had a lot of fun today. I don't know about you guys, but I've certainly had a lot of fun listening to all that information. Now, join us again next in a fortnight's time, and across throughout the month of November. Our theme for November is No Gain November. So we know that with the festive season upon us, that there are a lot of extra dinner parties. There's a trick-or-treating coming up very soon, amongst other festive related events. And it's the time of year where those extra kilos or pounds, depending on where you are in the world, can creep on. So we are focusing on how you can avoid those extra kilos in the month of November. You'll see lots of great information. Again, lots of health professionals sharing their wisdom as well, some posts, recipes, all sorts of things going into our community. So join us. There'll be a couple of lives as well, and we will put information in the group about that. But if you'd like to join us for No Gain November, keep an eye out for a special post at the beginning of the month, and we challenge you to keep those kilos off in the month of November. All right, thanks guys. Have a great weekend.